It's all about finding a product market fit, and you will never find it. Hey you, I'm Aliena, I'm a designer and I'm also an entrepreneur. This video is about everything I learned being a UX designer plus being an entrepreneur in the business world. And this entire presentation is made by pitch. There's one practice that I see over and over again that kills so many startups that have millions of dollars of investment, which is jumping right into engineering before they talk to customers. In UX design, we learn this concept of user testing. It's better to do user testing as early as possible. And it is exactly the same when it comes to business. I understand that a lot of teams are rushing to produce the MVP, but if you have runway for a year, I think it could be wiser if you spend at least 1 month talking to customers, or at least have one call with customers every day. In this way, you get feedback early on, and you avoid solving a problem that doesn't exist at the first place. Same thing applies to working at big tech companies. We have this tendency to push user testing at the end as a checkbox thing to do. I often need to partner with a different UX research team to get my project on UX research. And sometimes even the company will partner with a different agency. You need to fill in all sorts of documents, you need to take meetings, so you procrastinate a little bit and then 1 week after next, and then you are almost at the handoff date. If you do user testing that late, you are not looking forward for feedback. You are looking forward for no feedback. Because what can you do in 2 days, right? Not too much. My honest suggestion is to talk to users as soon as possible, as frequent as possible. Involve UX research early. If the process of UX research is way too complex in your company, try rapid feedback session. You can prepare for rapid feedback session in one meeting with your product manager. And then you can set up all the testing sessions in a day, literally in that week. In this way, the turnaround speed is way faster, and you still get user feedback. Also, the more I spend time in the business world as a designer or as an entrepreneur, the more I realize that every single decision is a trade-off. And it's often a trade-off between time, quality, and money. If there's a problem with an old feature, do you spend more time polish the entire product to make the old feature better? Or do you do a quick turnaround and then add a new feature to solve the problem of the old feature? It's a bit sketchy, the quality is low, but you can fix the problem faster and it kind of works. I used to thought that there's a most optimal solution to every single problem, and I no longer believe that. And I think there are two main reasons for this. First, because there's no such thing as a perfect problem statement. And second, because there's no such thing as a perfect success metrics. If you've learned business from school, and if you learn UX design from boot camps or school, you probably learn that it's important to define a great problem statement, your target audience, and then understand how to measure success. But I think it's a myth that you can do it perfectly. Problems are dynamic. They change over time because people change over time, weather change over time. Even if you define it so great in the first quarter, well, as time moves, things change. But there's a magic solution to this. And it's not about any method, it's just about trusting the process. I don't know if you guys have learned about complex systems, but all systems will flow to its equilibrium. This is a magical concept that really helped me. I will tell you this story. When I was at eBay, I worked on this one specific project that made me so burnt out. So for that one specific project, I had this little faith in it. Because I felt like the entire project on the design end is just making it pop. But there were so many stakeholders that got involved into this. The revenue projection were rocket high. And then there were multiple VPs in this project. And I was like the designer that's supposed to do the design. But then everyone gets involved and everyone wants to be the designer. So I already worked on this project day and night for 2 months. I've explored all the space right here. I know it wouldn't work. So I was telling everyone, no, go here. Let's try it this way. This doesn't work because A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If stakeholders get involved in the middle of the process, well, they may not have the time to read your 40 pages one-pager or watch a 4 hours meeting recording, right? So in one of the meetings, I felt like 20 other stakeholders were going that way, and I single-handedly want to drag everyone to run that way. Turns out, the solution is somewhere in the middle. I was not absolutely right at all. They were also not absolutely right. But the more meeting you have, even though sometimes you feel like it's going to a chaotic way, it will flow back to the equilibrium. And if you trust this process and if you trust time, you can be laid back way more and then still get to where you need to go. So yes, it's all about trade-off, but trust the process and you will get to an equilibrium state. Following that, there are a few specific things I don't suggest you to do. First, don't jump to the artboard before you consult with stakeholders. As long as you work for a company that has more than one person, I highly recommend you to do meeting before you jump into designing by yourself. It will save you so much time in the long run. Also, try not to be emotionally attached with your design. This happens if you jump to the artboard too fast and spend too much time alone in the Figma file. If you spend 10 hours alone in the Figma file, you're gonna feel like, oh my god, I put so many effort into this gonna ship. Being there, not good. I rather suggest you to do the wireframing inside the Zoom meeting. And in-house stakeholders can give you live feedback on the spot when you're doing the wireframing. This will save you guys so much space and everyone will feel great because everyone wants to design. Also, don't focus on things that are beyond your control. UI UX design cannot solve business strategy problem. If you got involved into a project where the product strategy or the business strategy weren't very valid at the first place, no matter how much you make it pop, no matter how pretty you make this project look, the product will not sell, and that is not because of your design. So please make sure you understand what's inside your control and what's not. In scenarios where things that are outside your control, I will highly recommend you to be a bit more laid back and then focus on the next project. So ask feedback early, trust the process, and understand that UX design cannot fix business strategy issues. I've seen this quote many times on LinkedIn, and recently I just felt like this is so true. You are only as good as you can communicate. And everything you do in business, no matter what role you are, always fall back to three things: taking meetings, sending emails, and sending messages. And there are two key things you always keep sending each other. There's documents and then there's slides. The most important ones, I think, are slides. Because when you're doing slides, you're trying to present something, you're trying to pitch an important idea. But I do not believe the best communication is dependent on slides. I don't think so. I think good slides can help, but it's not absolutely necessary. However, bad slides can completely ruin your communication. So please, 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 if you ever want to do a slide, do not do the following thing. Do not pack everything you want to say into one slide. Just look at this. Where do I even focus on, right? Separate them out. And please don't do this. Please don't write your script on your slide. Oh my god, I've seen so many people when they do presentation, they just read out whatever they write on the slide. Don't do it. The slide is the most concise summary version of whatever you want to convey. You tell the story. No one is gonna read your paragraph form. And this one is my favorite. This happens a lot to people who don't have a graphic design background. They want to make things more pop, and then they start to make rainbow slides. Don't do this. These three things are commonly made mistakes when it comes to presentation, and I think there's a very efficient way to solve it. Go to pitch.com. Using Pitch can help you to solve all these three problems and save you tons of time. Pitch templates are spot on. And if you're a designer or a business owner, they have specific templates just for those. And it all feels like it's built in 2024. They just launched their AI feature. And AI feature can help you to brainstorm your layout and content as well. I always suggest you to use AI as your assistant, not as your boss. So for me, I use it to help me to brainstorm. And then I will spend maybe 1 more hour to polish things up based on what I know. This presentation, I first started with the AI feature. So this is how it looks when I first kickstart this specific slides. And then 2 hours later, this is how it looks. It helps you with alignment, font, color, switching between dark and light mode. And even if you present and share, it also looks so good and it's so fast. You can even record yourself inside Pitch. I can think of so many scenarios that I will use Pitch. I will use it for design presentation. I will use it for communicating with clients. So check out the link in the description and then check out Pitch 2.0. This is so true. The hardest problem to avoid is scope creep. Scope creep means the project can start off this small and then it became this large. It's just that whenever I look at a project close enough and long enough, I realize that it sucks. It sucks at every single page, it sucks at every single step. And then I start to have this tendency to change everything, to make everything better. And that could be a huge problem. This happens to almost every single passionate new employee. Because they have a new perspective and they want to make a difference in the company, right? And if they are also very ambitious and hardworking, it's so likely that they just start to change stuff. A good way to prevent this is, well, try to be more humble and understand that people who work on this for a longer time, they understand more context than you do. And if this happened in the opposite way, I highly suggest you to nail down what's out of scope during the initial phase in that one-pager or product request document. And when you are thinking about design solutions, try to think about what is a specific point you can tackle in the user journey flow that can significantly improve the experience, rather than try to make every little thing better. And also, once the feature that you design is released, it's difficult to remove. Let's say Instagram. Instagram started off as the simplest social media platform ever existed. And look at it now. I mean, we're still using it, but now the features are everywhere and I can hardly keep up. So it's so important for you to actually make a product or a feature as good as possible before you release it. Because once you release it, you're changing everything. And engineering-wise, everything's connected. Once you release this feature, some other things are being impacted. So that's also difficult to roll back. So when I was studying, I always think about problems as technical problem, design problem, business problem, financial problem. But the more I work, the more I realize that 80% of problems are people problems. It's about relationship, it's about power dynamic, and it's about communication. And I want to wrap this up by saying the same thing as I said in the beginning of this video. Whether it's business or design, at the end of the day, they all feel like continuously finding a product market fit. But you can never permanently find it. It's dynamic. You find one solution today, tomorrow the market changes a little bit, and then you need to adapt to it. I used to be very obsessed with the result, a final design, a final portfolio, a final version. One day when my fast track UX course is finally finished producing, but now I feel like, wow, that is a horrible mindset to set myself up for burnout. Every single design project I've worked on, regardless whether it's for startups or for a big tech company, there's no such thing as a final design. We just keep iterating and you have no idea what new things will come up. There are times where you spend 1 year doing one project and then the next year you're going to design a product that pretty much replaced last year's progress. So if you don't love the process, you'll be miserable. I'm really trying to not be like that. Making some progress over here. If you have any suggestion, let me know. I hope you can resonate with what I've just shared. If you have any thoughts on any of the things I shared today, I would love to hear about your story and your perspective. And if you want to see similar videos like this, comment a victory sign emoji. I will consider making a part 2 of this video. Thank you, Pitch, for sponsoring this video and making this possible. I'm Aliena, and I will see you next in this video. Bye!